So, good morning. I'm taking the opportunity to hike around a little bit. I saw some ruins from the fire that I wanted to check out on my neighbor's property because it looked like they had left a structure up there, but it wasn't. It was just a fallen tin roof that had burned out and fallen down. So, in the meantime, I've hiked over towards my property and taken this opportunity from being over here to gather up a little bit of garbage that I saw, that even though it is on my neighbor's property and we're over where he's ditched all these cars before the fire. So even though it's on my neighbor's property, one of the things I swore to do after getting sober was to do everything within my power at the time to collect garbage Mylar balloons. And in the state of California, we've got a lot of cattle fence around, and what ends up happening is these Mylar balloons get caught on the cattle fence. So you'll be out in the middle of nowhere and you'll see a Mylar balloon. And Mylar is a forever plastic. It was designed specifically to be used in outer space to shield our stuff that we send up there from ultraviolet rays, and to be very, very stable. And so I saw this guy a few weeks ago, and I'd been hiking around forever, and I didn't feel like pushing into the brush and taking the extra steps to avoid all the poison oak, which is just everywhere in here. But I made a note of it for next time, and so I'm here to collect. And one of the reasons I've put this sort of on my ongoing agenda was, as is common for many people when they get sober, you feel a lot of remorse, not only for all the years that you wasted being a drunk, but also all the bad stuff you did. And it didn't even have to be so bad. It just feels like you were just spent your whole life being bad. And part of healing when you get sober is filling up your days with good and stacking those good, sober, rational days on top of each other. And over time, those feelings of being a bad person go away. So I've taken it upon myself whenever I see a garbagey Mylar balloon to go and fetch it, if I can. If it's up in the telephone wires, I'm not going to do it. But if I need to stop the car on the side of the road and hike up to a cattle fence and unwind a Mylar balloon, I do it. And it's simply not a waste of my time, because I no longer spend hours and hours and hours maintaining my alcoholism. And so I have free time. I have free time in my daily life to take care of this. Mylar is a forever chemical, and you can see that once it does start to break down, and this one is old, but it shatters into this these tiny little pieces of Mylar. And this will just continue to break down into smaller and smaller pieces until it can be absorbed by the microbiota at the molecular level, and then all of those bugs will get eaten by bigger bugs and bigger bugs and bigger bugs, and that's how we get these forever chemicals and molecularized plastic into our bodies, and into the food chain. So I'm going to carefully scoop up as much of this as I can and put it in my pocket and put it in the garbage. So that's just my little 5-minute thought on what I'm doing. One of the tiny little things that I'm doing to be a better person now that I'm sober. And every time I collect up a Mylar balloon, I take a tiny little piece of forever garbage out of the environment. And I love that. And it makes me feel good. And I've only been able to get about 20 or 30 Mylar balloons out of nature in the last 8 years, but it's worth it. It's worth it. These little things that you can do. Anyway, just wanted to share that. Love you guys.